Hey, Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom. All praises to the Most High, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. And today I want to do a video lesson in regards to the power of prayer. You know, as y'all brothers, if you read through the scriptures, especially in the Gospels, one thing that Hamashiach YAHAWASHI would oftentimes reiterate is the aspects of prayer. Prayer is extremely important because the majority of people don't really understand prayer, and those who are even, abiding by the word to the best of their ability, they may oftentimes struggle with prayer. So I want to get into this aspect, especially in regards to Luke, because there's a great parable that YAHAWASHI used to help us understand prayer and why we need to use it and why it's so important. So this is Luke chapter 18:1. It says, "And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint." And just getting into the aspect of prayer, the reason why he reiterated not to faint is that oftentimes whenever we're praying to the Most High for something, our hearts can get faint because things may not be going the way that we think they need to go, and we oftentimes disconnect from the Most High's will. When we go into Luke and we look up the word faint, G1573, the definition right here is to be weary, to be spiritless, to be wearied out, to be exhausted. Brothers on y'all walk, man, when you're trying to overcome demons, when you're trying to renew yourself from the old man, be renewed by the new man, and you're going through certain things, you cannot faint, because fainting is the opposite of trust. We are to trust the Most High and his will, regardless of what the external world is showing us. And oftentimes when we faint, it's during a test, it's during a trial of our faith. So it's very important for us not to faint. And the way that we're not to faint is to understand how the Most High works, to understand his nature, and to truly love and to trust in him. And that's what this whole parable is really about. So we'll go through it. This is verse 2. It says, "Saying, there was in a city a judge which feared not the Most High, neither regarded man. There was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, Avenge me of mine adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, Though I fear not the Most High, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me. And the Lord said, Hear what the unjust judge saith. And shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear along with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth?" And the reason for this parable is really just to understand the nature of the Most High, because when you understand the widow was constantly coming to a judge. And when you look at the character of this judge, this was an earthly man. He had no fear in the Most High. He had no regard for righteousness. Neither did he care about the matters of man. But essentially this widow, who was in a down-impoverished state, who was being exploited by her adversary, she seeked justice, she seeked righteousness, she seeked a fair judgment on the matter. And she would constantly come back to this judge, constantly, each and every day, regardless of the judge's character. And essentially what happened is that her persistence paid off, and regardless of how much time was, within that time when she first asked for the prayer to when it was, or she asked for the request and it was finally given, her request was fulfilled. And the reason why this is important is that YAHAWASHI is showing the contrast between a worldly, wicked judge compared to the heavenly Father who rules all heaven and all earth. YAHAWASHI uses this to show contrast, because if a worldly, wicked judge can essentially make a request to a woman who's faithful, how much more is Yahweh gonna give the request for you, especially if you're walking in faith, if you're doing the things necessary to please him, if you have a sincere heart. The Most High is always going to work things out if it aligns with his will. Let's go to Hebrews 11. This is Hebrews 11:1. It says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtain a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of the Most High, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear." So even the foundation of this reality we're living in, they were created by words that we can't physically see, but they allowed everything to come into fruition, right? So when you understand the foundation, the basis of faith, when you're requesting things from the Most High, and when I say request, like asking him, submitting to his order, and praying that he allows it to come into fruition, you're not going to be able to physically see it. If you brothers are dealing with temptation, especially when you're dealing with something that you feel has a certain level of power over you, oftentimes the struggle that you may go through, you may see a period where you just truly believe that you can't overcome it. Because the evidence, what does it show you? It shows you that you keep running to the same thing. You know, you have an emotion that you've been praying for something, and for whatever reason, it's not coming the way that you want it to. And the first thing that we are to think of being in this flesh is, does the Most High hear my prayers? Does the Most High forsake me? Even YAHAWASHI himself, when he was on the cross, what did he say? So I want to go to Matthew chapter 27 and verse 46, and it says, "And about the 9th hour, YAHAWASHI cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani." That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? When you look up the definition of forsaking, when you just understand the meaning of the word, some of the biblical outlines is to abandon, to leave in straits, to totally abandon, to utterly forsake. And we know the Most High is not forsaking YAHAWASHI in that moment, but when he was going through that pain, he felt like the Most High had abandoned him. And this is the Most High's Son saying this. And obviously YAHAWASHI didn't go off, he didn't sin, but in this struggle that he was in, you know, he felt like, you know, did my Father forsake me? And understanding if YAHAWASHI felt that way, there are obviously going to be times where we feel the same way, because we're in flesh, we're going through trials, we're going through suffering, and you know, oftentimes it's just natural for us to wonder, is the Most High still with me? Let's go to Hebrews 11:6. It says, "But without faith it is impossible to please him, for he that cometh to the Most High must believe it that he is." And when you come into the Most High, you do it through what? You do it through prayer. And it says, "And that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him." So oftentimes, as a proving of faith, you have to continue to pray to the Most High, even if the outside world shows you, is this really happening? You're looking at the evidence around you, you feel you don't see it, and you're wondering if you're praying to the Most High. You know, even when you go to the book of Sirach, it says, you know, the prayer of a righteous man is a sweet savor to the Most High, but to a wicked man, the Most High ignores prayer. That's actually in Proverbs. Let's look that up. It's Proverbs 15:9. It says, "The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Most High, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. The way of the wicked is an abomination unto Yahweh, but he loveth him that followeth after righteousness." So, you know, when brothers are moving and you know you have a sincere heart and you're praying and you feel like the Most High isn't listening, you're thinking, am I wicked? Are my ways not aligned with the Most High? Is that why he's not moving? Is that why he's not answering my prayer? But that's not true. If you have faith that you're on the right path, the Most High is listening and he's answering your prayer, but just not in the way that you expected, because he's testing your faith. And that's the whole point on why YAHAWASHI oftentimes reiterates to faint not in your prayer, because it's very easy for you to fall and lose belief just because the Most High may not be answering the prayer in the way that you think it. And that's the testing. And that's what really tests your faith and allows you to continue to move forward, because you have to be persistent in your faith, regardless of what may be going on, regardless of if you feel like certain demons have power over you. You have to stay persistent, and you have to remind yourself of all the times that the Most High has come through for you when you're praying for things that you feel you can't overcome without him. You know, when I was talking with brother yesterday, I said, hey, you know, look at a specific moment in your walk where you felt like the Most High, or you felt like you could not do it, you could not overcome it, and see how the Most High had answered your prayers. Because oftentimes we forget many of the times that the Most High has answered our prayers, because in the moment we feel powerless, we feel like the demons have control over us. But that's why the Most High, that's why Paul said that you have to have power. This is 2 Timothy 1:7. It says, "For the Most High has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Whenever you're dealing with these things and you feel like, I've been praying for this, I can't overcome it, you have to have power and understand that the Spirit is going to allow you to overcome those things. Because when you feel like, oh, maybe the Most High is not listening, maybe the Most High is not there, maybe the Most High is not answering my prayer, that's fear, that's doubt. And that's why the scripture says to have power, because when you're fighting these temptations, you have to believe that Hamashiach YAHAWASHI has given you authority to overcome it. Whenever that demon of doubt is coming within your mind, you have to expel it out. You have to purge it out through the prayer and through having faith. Because if you have a prayer that doesn't have any power behind it, when you're overcoming these demons, you're going to fall short. This is Matthew 10:1. It says, and when he had called unto him 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. So essentially, when Yahawashi had his disciples go out and perform the many miracles in his name, he told them that you would be given power against unclean. You would be given power against darkness, right? And oftentimes when we're going through these situations where we feel like things are hopeless, a lot of times it's a testing of if we truly believe that the Most High has the power to help us overcome these things. And that's why we have to continue to persist. That's why we have to continue to have faith that the Most High is going to answer our prayers, regardless of how many times we think we've fallen back, regardless of how many times we think in our head that, I don't know if I can do this, I'm unsure of myself. Because if we didn't go through these times where we had to persist, imagine when you're in the time of the Great Tribulation and everything that you see around you is saying, I don't know if Yahawashi is going to come back. I don't know if I'm of the elect. Why? Because I'm going through tribulation, because I'm being persecuted, because I'm in the wilderness, because I'm losing it all, and everything just seems dire. Is this really going to happen? That's why the Most High tests you early, because he needs you to strengthen your faith. He needs to strengthen your faith to be able to continue to pray for him and to pray that he delivers you even though things may seem bleak. So when you brothers are praying for something, especially if it's something that you may be struggling with, you have to continue to pray. You have to be like that widow. You have to continue to persist, because the widow didn't request it one time or 2 times or maybe 5 or 10. It doesn't even specify. It specifies that she kept coming. She kept coming, and she broke down the unjust judge until he finally relented and gave her what she had been asking for. And that's another point. Let's go to Matthew 7. Matthew 7:7. It says, ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. And it shall be open to you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be open. Or what is there of you whom if his son ask bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he give him a serpent? If you then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? So essentially, this is Yahawashi asking a rhetorical question. If you love your son and he asks you, hey, Father, can you give me protection? You're going to give him the protection. Or if he asks you, hey, Father, can you please, provide for me so that way I can, survive, right? And he gives it to you to protect. And we have a wicked, evil nature, and we're doing that for our sons. The Heavenly Father, the omnipotent, the omnipresent, the omnificent power that Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHWASHI is, he's not going to do that for you? Of course he's going to do it for you. But if you may feel when you're praying and things aren't being answered, it's a test to see if you're going to continue to push forward and continue to move and act in faith. Even when you look up Matthew 7:7, it says, ask and it shall be given, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be open. When you do a study of the Greek, these are all in present tense. These are all saying to continue to ask, to continue to seek, to continue to knock. When you look up knock and you see the outline, it says to knock at the door. And one thing when I was studying it is when you go right here in the lexicon, it says to knock with a heavy blow. Meaning you're continuing to knock. You're continuing to ask even though people may not hear that knock. So that's literally how the Most High wants you to pray. That's how the Most High wants you to do things. He wants you to be persistent, because when you have faith, you're going to continue to ask. I mean, when you look at a lot of the aspects of faith, like Abraham and Sarah Sarah, I forgot how old she was. She didn't think she could have a baby, but the Most High said his will be done. And when Abraham was praying, it happened. When you look at the aspect of Moses, when you look at all these aspects, it was continued prayer. It wasn't a one-time thing. It wasn't a two-time thing. It was a continued prayer over a period of time that essentially showed them the Most High was there the entire time. The Most High was listening the entire time. So that's why the scriptures is so imperative, and it's so important for you to continue to pray, because that is a testing of your faith. And again, as the scripture says, without faith, it is impossible to what? It is impossible to please him. You see what I mean? So that's why it's so important to understand how prayer works and understand the Most High in his nature, so you can continue to pray and have faith regardless of what the external is showing you. And I want to go here. This is Sirach chapter 2. I want to go unto 6. It says, believe in him and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. You that fear Yahawah, wait for his mercy and go not aside lest you fall. So continue to wait for the Most High's mercy. Don't go off and think that he's not coming, and now you're going off and you're not abiding in the word how you should. It says, you that fear the Most High, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. You that fear Yahawah, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Most High and were confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? So this is a recalling to the testimony of all the generations of your forefathers and your foremothers. When they were praying for the Most High, when were they ever forsaken? Even when they were wicked and evil, even when they didn't fully understand things, the Most High still had mercy on those he would have mercy upon. So, when we're on our walk, and again, we're looking at our own testimony, look at the times the Most High has helped you and been there for you and supported you and delivered you. And whenever you understand his power, that's going to take out any doubt or any fear of feeling like you don't have the power to overcome what may be holding you back. Even verse 11 says, the Most High is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in the time of affliction. So when you feel drowned in your sin, when you feel weighted down from your sin and feeling like, oh, I'm not worthy, the Most High is not going to allow me to overcome this, that's doubt. We understand we're not perfect. We understand we're in this flesh, but you can't allow the doubt to stop you from praying to the Most High and praying that he give you the power to overcome those things. You have to continue to knock on that door. You have to continue to be persistent, and you have to continue to push through. Verse 12, it says, woe be to the fearful heart and faint-hearted, and the sinner that goeth two ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore he shall not be defended. Woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will you do when Yahawah shall visit you? So saying you will be in woe. You know what I mean? You will be in torment if you continue to move with a faint heart. If you continue to lose patience. It says verse 15, they that fear the Most High will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his way. So this is just a reminder for y'all brothers to continue to move and to pray in Yahawah's name, to cast out any doubt, to cast out any double-mindedness, any wavering, and to understand that the Father's will is for you to continue to be built up in the spirit, and to not allow these things on this earth within your flesh to push you away from the Most High. And I'm going to end it on this. This is 1 John 5:14. It says, and this is the confidence that we have. It says confidence blatantly right there. Let's look at the definition. Confidence, right? Confidence, freedom in speaking, open, without concealment, without ambiguity. But right here, free and fearless confidence, cheerful courage, boldness and assurance. So when we're going on these things and we're doubting, I'm going through something right now, regardless of what the external is showing me, regardless of how I may feel internally, I still must have the confidence that Yahawah will answer my prayer. If you're praying, you have a sincere heart, and you know the Most High loves you, and you're of his hopeful elect, you're going to continue to pray in confidence that what? It says that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he heareth us. So if it's of the Most High's will for you to do that, continue to pray. And that's why it's so important to understand his will and understand his way, because you don't want to be praying for something that's unaligned with his will, and you lose doubt because you were praying for something that he didn't want you to have, and now you think he doesn't hear you. See, that's why you have to align your heart with his heart, so that way you're praying for the things that are according to his will. Verse 15, it says, and if we know that he hear us whatsoever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we desired of him. And we'll look up what petitions mean. It's petition, it's require, request. So when we're aligned with the Most High's will, we must have confidence that when we ask for these things, the Most High will hear us and he will give it to us. So Lord willing, this was edifying. Y'all brothers continue to stay girded up in the faith, understand the power of prayer, and don't allow, the doubt and the fear, because things may not be moving the way that you think, that's a indictment on your faith, and that's an indictment that the Most High is not with you. And I'm speaking this from experience. So I give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Until next time, it's Ash Ibai signing out.